everyone, welcome to Botany Insider, and in this lecture we'll be discussing one of the topic from unit 12, and that is plant tissue culture. And at the end of this video we'll be discussing one previous year question related to the same. So let's discuss about that what it is. So plant tissue culture is a process of producing the plants from the tissues of the desired plants in an artificial nutrient medium under the controlled environment. The plant that are produced are exactly similar to the mother plant in all the aspects. So this one definition defines the complete plant tissue culture in a one go. So let's just break it into parts. It is a process of producing plants. So in this we are producing plants from the tissues of the desired plant in an artificial nutrient medium under controlled environment. We are using controlled environment and artificial nutrient medium in order to produce the plant from the tissues of a desired plant. The tissue culture involves the use of small pieces of the plant tissue that are known as explant, which are cultured in the nutrient medium under the sterile conditions. So we can also say that the plant tissue culture depends upon the ability of the plant tissue to give rise to an entirely new plant when provided with the growth medium and appropriate environmental conditions. Using the appropriate growing conditions for each of the explant type, the plants can be induced to rapidly produce the new shoots with the addition of suitable hormones. We will be understanding about all the various important conditions in the subsequent slides. So let's discuss about the constituents of the plant tissue culture nutrient media. So we mainly require the water, inorganic salts, plant growth regulators, vitamins, amino acids and the carbon sources. But also in addition, if we are using any solid medium for the purpose, we would also be requiring some solidifying agents. So let's discuss about few of the important words. The first one is that what is a mother plant? So the plant that we are actually using as a source of all the desired final product, that is, consider this is the tree or this is the plant that we are using for our plant tissue culture in order to get the desired characters of this particular plant. So this plant would be given the name of the mother plant. One important point to remember is that the mother plant that we are using in the purpose should be devoid of any bacterial or the fungal infection before using it for the multiplication. That is, the plant that we are using should not be infected with any type of infection in order to produce pure and healthy plants at the end of our experiment. So what is an explant now? So an explant is the part of the plant which has got the regeneration potential and is able to give rise to the whole plant. So the plant that we are using for the purpose is given the name of the mother plant, and the part of the plant that we are using for the experiment is given the name of the explant. And this explant should have the potential to regenerate and produce the whole plant. The various types of the explant that are frequently used for the regeneration purpose are, the first one are the nodal segments could be used, then we could use the apical meristems, we could use the roots, cotyledons, so on and so forth. What is regeneration potential? Now let's discuss about this. So regeneration potential in scientific term is given the characteristic feature which is called as the totipotency. Let's just break the term. Toti means total and potency means capacity. So totipotency is the characteristic feature of the plant cell which signifies that a single cell is capable of giving rise to the whole plant. That is, the cell that has the inherited capacity of differentiation and de-differentiation. In simple words, it means that consider this is a plant cell, and this plant cell is having the capacity to grow, to reproduce and produce a entirely same type of plant from which this particular tissue or this particular cell have been taken. This is what is known as totipotency, and every plant cell have the potential to convert into or have a totipotency feature, that is, it could develop into an entirely new plant which is the exact copy of the source plant. And this term totipotency was termed by Herbert Land in 1902. So in simple steps, we could say that this is the plant that we have taken, and this is the X plant that we have taken for our source, and this X plant is kept upon the nutrient media. Then at the first step, we have the formation of callus, and this callus grows and forms into an embryoid. This embryoid gets converted into embryo, and it finally gets converted into the plantlets. So this is a simple depiction of a plant tissue culture. So talking about the crops that are being propagated by the plant tissue culture commercially, just go through this complete list once, and if you find any particular question related to the same in one way or the other, you would be able to solve the same. Just pause the video here and just note down all the names. Let's move forward and understand about the various stages of the micropropagation. So we mainly have 5 stages of micropropagation. The first stage is the stage 0, that is selection and the preparation of the mother plant. In the stage 1, we have the initiation of the culture. In stage 2, we have the multiplication happening. In the stage 3, we have the rooting, and finally there occurs stage 4, that is the transfer to the soil. In the stage 1, what we are doing is we are sterilizing the plant tissue that we have taken. In step 1, what happens is that the X plant is placed to the growth media. In step 2, the X plant transferred to the shoot media. The shoots can be constantly divided. In the fourth step, what we have is that there occurs the X plant being transferred to the root media. And in the final step, that as and when the 4 steps are finally completed, the X plant is turned to the soil and then it is hardened off. So these are the 5 stages of micropropagation. Important point to remember is that first we have the formation of the shoot, and after the formation of the shoot, there occurs the formation of the root. Make sure you remember about this, that first we have the shoot formation and then there occurs the root formation. So this is how the complete plant tissue culture process occurs. In the step 1, what we have is the tissue sample is scraped from the parent plant. In the step 2, what happens is that the tissue sample is placed in the agar growth medium, and that contains the nutrients and the auxins. In step 3, what happens is that the sample develops into tiny plantlets, and in step 4, the plantlets are planted onto the compost in order to have a rapid growth of the plantlets. So now let's discuss about the regulators of the tissue culture. So we mainly have the 2 important plant regulators. The first one is the auxin and the second one is the cytokinin. And what are these? So these are the 2 plant hormones that play important role in the regulation of the tissue culture. And we have already discussed in depth about auxins and cytokinins and all the other important plant hormones along with their mechanism of action and other things in complete detail. So if you have not watched that video, I'll put the link of the same in the description box and you can watch those videos as well. So as we have discussed that auxin stimulates the root development and the cytokinin stimulates the shoot development. So both of them have important functions to play in the tissue culture mechanism. So now let's discuss about the various ratio and how the ratio, if changed, affect the growth. So generally, the ratio of these 2 plant hormones determines the plant development. In the case 1, if we have more of auxin and less of cytokinin, what would happen is there would occur formation of the root. Why? Because as we have discussed, root development. So if we have higher ratio of auxin in comparison to the cytokinin, we will have the root formation. And if there is more of cytokinin in comparison to the auxin, so what would happen is we have our shoot formation. And if auxin and cytokinin are equal in concentration, there occurs the formation of callus. That is, there is no differentiation and all the cells look alike. Make sure you remember about these ratios. The first one was that when auxin was high and cytokinin was low, there occurs more of root development. If the cytokinin is more in comparison to auxin, there occurs shoot development, and if there occurs both of them in the same concentration, there occurs the formation of the callus. The question could be asked in this form also, that if auxin to cytokinin ratio is more, what would be the final result? That is, auxin is more in comparison to cytokinin, we have the root development. If cytokinin to auxin ratio is more, we would have our shoot development, and if auxin and cytokinin are equal in concentration, we would have the formation of the callus. So this was all about the ratios. Let's understand about the parameters that are affecting the ex vitro growth of the plants. Ex vitro means outside the normal conditions. So the parameters that mainly affect are, the first one is the temperature, then we have the light, that is both the quality and the quantity. We have the relative humidity being an important parameter, soil characteristics, and also the soil nature. These biotic factors and the abiotic factors in combination are responsible for the overall growth and the development of the plant. So now let's understand about that what is somatic embryogenesis and what is zygotic embryogenesis. So till now we have discussed that we have the formation of the callus. So after the callus we have embryoid and the embryo formation. And after the embryo formation, there could occur either somatic embryogenesis or the zygotic embryogenesis, depending upon that which explant we have taken. If it is from a somatic structure, it would lead to somatic embryogenesis, and if it is the other way around, it would lead to the formation of the zygotic embryogenesis. So now let's discuss about that what is somatic embryogenesis and zygotic embryogenesis. So in case of somatic embryogenesis, we have the callus formation. Till the callus formation, we have the same steps in both of them. So after the callus formation, in case of somatic embryogenesis, what happens is we have first the globular stage formed, and after the globular stage we have the heart stage, and after the heart stage we have the torpedo, and after the torpedo we would be having the formation of the plantlet, and this plantlet leads to the final regeneration of the whole plant. In case of the zygotic embryogenesis, the zygote first gets converted into the globular form. This globular form gets converted into the heart form and then the torpedo, and this torpedo then gets converted into the cotyledon. There lies the difference. In the first case, after the torpedo, we finally had the formation of the plantlets, but in case of the zygotic embryogenesis, this torpedo gets converted into the cotyledon, and after the formation of cotyledon, this cotyledon undergoes 4 steps, that is expansion, maturation, desiccation and dormancy. And after this cotyledon have finally succeeded in forming these 4 steps, we have the germination and the growth of the plantlet. Make sure you remember about the difference of each one of them and what are these stages. So for this particular lecture, let's just remember that there are 4 stages after the callus formation in the somatic and the zygotic embryogenesis. The difference lies that in case of somatic, the torpedo gets converted into the plantlet, and in case of the zygotic, the torpedo stage gets converted into the cotyledon stage, and after that we have some more differences in case of the zygotic embryogenesis as we have just discussed. So with this we are done with the complete plant tissue culture mechanism. Now let's quickly discuss about the advantages of the plant tissue culture. So the first advantage is that the plant tissue culture plants are qualitatively better as they are produced under the aseptic condition and controlled environment. That is, they are produced under no microbial growth condition. No microbes could grow under this particular condition. Hence, it is qualitatively much better. The plants are raised at a faster rate. They have a high degree of uniformity. That is, the final plants that are produced are more same in nature as compared to the conventional plant produce. Tissue culture plantlets are free from the diseases as we have just discussed, and also it is possible to multiply the plants that are difficult to propagate from the cutting or the traditional methods. And also there occurs better yield in case of the plant tissue culture as it is selected from the desired plant that we require or the desired mother plant that we require. So with this we're done with the complete topic. Let's quickly discuss one particular question from the same. So the question says that the following statements are related to the plant tissue culture. We have to find out that which of the following combinations of the statements is correct. We need to find out the correct combination. The first statement says that the friable callus provide the inoculum for the cell suspension culture. So it is a correct statement as the callus provide the medium for the cell suspension culture also. The second option says that the process of habituation refers to the property of the callus losing the requirement for the auxin or the cytokinin during the long-term culture. Let's keep this statement on hold because we do not have knowledge for the same. The third option says that the cellulase and the pectinase enzyme are usually used for generating the protoplast culture. We have learnt about the same in our junior classes, so this is a correct statement. The fourth option says that during the somatic embryo development, the torpedo stage is formed before the heart stage, which is an incorrect statement. Why? Because we have just discussed that the torpedo is formed after the heart stage, not before that. Hence, it is an incorrect statement. So, if we remove the statement D from the options given, we can easily find out that our correct answer is option A, that is A, B and C are correct statement. So you can see that we knew about that the torpedo is formed after the heart stage. We could easily eliminate the incorrect option and reach out to the final option without having any knowledge about option B. So with this we can understand that it is not compulsory that we have the knowledge of every single point. Instead, if we could eliminate the incorrect option, we could easily reach out to the final answer in case of these combination type of questions. So the last point to remember is make sure you add on this particular point into your notes, that is this process refers to the property of the callus losing the requirement for the auxin and or cytokinin during the long term culture. Make a habit of writing down the points if you find in any previous year question or anywhere else which you have not read before, so that if you encounter any such point in the future, you can easily solve from that particular point. So with this, we are done with the complete topic of plant tissue culture in detail. So if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends and please subscribe to my channel. And also I'll be coming up very soon with more informative videos as well. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye.